So Apple's already done what most companies never will. It became the first trillion-dollar company and kept compounding far beyond that. But now things are shifting. Growth's slowing, AI is reshaping the entire tech industry, and Apple's entered a new leadership era under John Ternus. So the real question is, can Apple keep compounding into 2030, or is its strongest growth already behind it? This will be a part of a series where I break down major companies and look at whether they're still worth investing in the long term. Today, we're breaking down Apple and what it could realistically look like by 2030. Most people still think Apple is just an iPhone company, but that's only part of the story. Apple's built an ecosystem. You buy an iPhone, you have a Mac, iPods, AirPods, Apple Watch, and suddenly everything you own is connected together. That ecosystem creates a lock-in, and that's extremely powerful for a business. On top of that, Apple's built a massive service business, iCloud, Apple Music, App Store revenue, all high margin recurring income. And this shift into services is one of the biggest reasons Apple valuation has expanded so much, because it's turned Apple from a hardware sales company into a recurring revenue machine. So for long term, investors are still confident in Apple because their cash flow. Apple generates enormous constant profit every single year, and that type of stability in a business is rare. Second, their service growth. Service now acts like a subscription engine inside their business, proving margins over time. Third, there's silicon control. Apple designing its own chips completely changed the company. Better performance, lower cost, and full control over hardware and their software. Fourth would be their institutional confidence. Even investors like Warren Buffett built massive positions in Apple through Berkshire Hathaway, showing long-term belief in this business. And finally, we have AI. Apple isn't trying to lead AI in the same way others are. Instead, its strategy is on device AI. That means processing AI directly on iPhones and Macs using Apple Silicon. So instead of chasing AI hype, Apple's trying to make AI practical, private, and built into everyday devices. With all that said, there is definitely still risk in the market. There always is. So their device saturation. The smartphone market is mature. Most people who want an iPhone already have one. That makes growth slower and more dependent on the upgrades. Innovating concerns. Apple used to create entirely new product categories. Now it's more improved existing ones. So third, leadership transition risk. That's risky. But John Ternus, I like him. I don't know if other people do. He's been at Apple a long time. He's an engineer. This could be really good for Apple. We can only tell in time with that. We can't judge him so early. It's 5 days ago the announcement was. So Tim Cook built Apple into a multi-trillion-dollar company through execution and scale. Now leadership is transitioning, and that matters because new leadership brings new priorities, strategic changes, and potential shifts in innovation speed. Even if it's planned, markets don't like uncertainty. Fourth, AI perception. The market still sees companies like Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI as leaders, and perception often drives short-term valuation. Finally, geopolitical risk. Apple still relies heavily on China for manufacturing and demand, which adds supply chain risk. So my personal outlook for 2030, it's about controlled dominance. The biggest factor will be AI. Right now, AI doesn't have a clear mass market business model for everyday consumers, but Apple's opportunity is different. While other companies build AI tools, Apple builds the device people already live inside. If Apple successfully integrates AI into iPhones, Macs, and wearables, it doesn't need to lead AI. It just needs to make it usable at scale. And under new leadership, Apple is now positioned to explore new hardware directions and deeper ecosystem expansions. So by 2030, Apple probably isn't a high growth rocket, but it could still be one of the most consistent compounders in the entire market. So should you invest in Apple? Apple's still one of the strongest businesses in the world, but it's not risk-free. So my personal view, no financial advice, is a strong long-term compounder, slow growth in the past decade, best brought on pullbacks, don't buy into the hype. If you want stability, cash flow, consistency, then Apple makes sense for you. But if you're chasing a more aggressive portfolio, this probably isn't where you will find it.